Wow. Yeah. Saw a video on TikTok today that reminded me of Mike, and somebody wanted to start a support group for people who lost their personal best fish.
Fuck you.
I actually lost a hog the other day. I threw a what was it? Oh, I threw a what was it? It was a brand new Guggen squad. What do they call it? Grass head swim bait, and
Yeah.
threw it underneath the bridge, and this big old fish got it. I swear to God, some bitch jumped 3 feet out of the water and spit it. I got 3 fucking cameras on my boat, and you can see it from one, like in between my shoulder and the edge of the frame. You can see it for like half a second. I'm like, God damn it. But yeah, I kind of like the idea of a support group for people who just lost their personal best. That wasn't my personal best, of course. Mine was
Well,
8 3/4 pounds. What's your
the
personal
kid
best
that
there,
I
Morgan
work
Long?
with, he's an offshore fisherman, and I guess in salt water, if you get it to the boat, it counts.
I don't want to
So,
be a dick, but if you're in a boat, regardless if it's saltwater or freshwater, or perhaps you're in a kayak, aren't you technically offshore? Just saying.
Technically.
well, I suppose. I mean, it's all semantics, really.
Yeah, semantic. So I was watching a TikTok today, and some dickhead caught a fish, and he fed it to a baby alligator. And at which point I said, "Why? Why would you want to teach alligators that anglers are a food source? It ain't going to benefit us kayakers very well." And somebody else kind of snooty attitude with me, saying that video was for bank fishermen, not kayak fishermen. I'm thinking, hey, stupid, anywhere in Florida there's fresh water and bass, there's going to be a kayak in there sooner or later. So, as a service announcement from 3 kayak anglers here in Florida, don't fucking feed alligators, especially don't feed them fish. Because, see, I care about my fish. I'm not the type of guy who has a fish that swallows the hook, cuts the line, and throws it back in. I make the attempt to retrieve said hook. And oftentimes, when you're making the attempt to retrieve said hook, you got to keep putting the bass back in the water so it stays fucking live, and you pull it out and you get around too. Well, when you got assholes like that constantly feeding alligators fish, one day I'm gonna come up missing a fucking hand because that alligator's gonna say, "Oh, here's lunch." So yeah, please don't do that.
You're gonna get the old Chubbs treatment.
Damn alligator bit my hand off.
Oh my God!
Yeah, tournament down in Florida. I hooked my ball in the rough down by the lake. Damn alligator just popped up. Cut me down in my prime.
The old Chubbs, the old sausage swipe.
Good enough. But I did get out fishing on Sunday, so that was cool.
Did you catch anything?
Nice.
Yeah, I caught a couple of like 2-pounders. Nothing too exciting.
Out at
but
Lakes Park?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that is something for Lakes Park to catch a couple 2-pound bass in brackish water. When I've been out there 13 times and caught maybe 3 fish on all those trips, a 2-fish day at Lakes Park, especially if they're over 1.5 pounds, that's a fucking red letter day out there.
I was pretty excited, and then as I was pulling the kayak out of the water,
That's what the kids call it nowadays. Pulling the old kayak out of the water, were you?
That's what the kids call it these days.
The only pulling out I get to do. But anyway, mom and dad, little boy, probably about 6, 7 years old, and his little sister, they're fishing on the bank. And I hear this little boy start screaming, like, kind of scared me at first. And I look over, and he's pulling out of the water probably your fish, Mike. I mean, this thing was probably every bit of 5 pounds and almost as big as the kid was.
And he caught it on a fucking night crawler.
Well, he caught it on a shiner. They were fishing with live bait, and I mean, it did me good to see this kid being so excited about fishing.
And then Morgan went and pushed him in the lake and then took a picture with his fish. Like, look what I got, guys.
You should have just walked over and said, "Hey, kid, let me hold that for a second."
That's my buddy Mike's fish. Here's a hypothetical for you. Let's say hypothetically you're out fishing and you catch a fish, but you're a catch and release kind of guy. But maybe there's some people on the bank who are down on their luck and they're fishing for dinner. And they say, "Hey, you want to throw that back?" "Why? You want it?" "Yeah, we're hungry." Do you ask them if do they need a fishing license for you to give them that fish?
I don't think so.
What if they're fishing?
If they're fishing, that's their problem.
But if you give them said fish, Are they required to have a? Are you required to have a fishing license if you were to take a wild fish home, clean it, and eat it?
I'm with
I
Mike. That's
only,
not my problem.
yeah, I think only if
Not if they're
you're
standing on a
fishing
pier.
like rod and reel kind of fishing.
Yeah.
Like if I caught a fish and you walked up and said, "Hey, can I have that?" and I gave it to you, that's not legal. Illegal.
Well, what if I had a fishing rod in my hand?
That's on you. You're taking that risk.
Just a question I've wondered a
If
few times.
if I'm legal, I've got my rod and reel, I've got my license, I catch the fish and all that shit. I harvested legally. If I give that fish to you and you have a rod in hand and you have no license, that's your fucking problem.
Well, look at you, Mr. Bougie. You can afford a fishing license. Fuck you.
I purposely afford that fishing license because I know exactly how much it costs not to have it.
No, you and I have had multiple conversations on this podcast and your fishing podcast about people who go out there with $3,000 worth of equipment. I couldn't afford a $14 a year fishing license. Okay,
Yeah.
fella. Hope you can afford
Yep.
the $500 ticket you're going to get. It's like
Yep.
$14
Do you
a
have
year.
the?
This has been a Digital 410 production.